Remember, everyone, nobody beats Mr. Perfect. Nobody. All right, and welcome to episode 11 of Curt Hennig Was the Best. Changed my mind. Today on this episode of the Perfect Podcast, of course, we are going to watch along with Curt Hennig's match with his father against Buddy Rose and Rip Oliver in Portland. So if you would like to watch along, just go ahead and do a YouTube search for Rip Oliver and Buddy Rose versus Larry and Curt Hennig. Should come up with a video on YouTube that you can watch along to. I will go ahead and say hit play now, and when I do that, just go ahead and hit your play button and you can watch along to this match. Before we get to that though, I would like to express that there is a way, and there will be a link in the subscription field below this episode if you would like to go ahead and donate some money to me monthly to keep this podcast going. That is fine. Again, link will be in the description. And thank you again for your support. All right, everyone. And welcome to episode 11 of Curt Hennig Was the Best. Changed my mind. Today, like I said in the intro, we are going to go ahead and watch along to one of Curt's Portland matches. Just want to say a little verbiage before we get started. I actually came across a lot of the Portland stuff I came across one match just from looking up Curt's name. And I was kind of curious to see if I could find any older stuff than, let's say, AWA or even WWF when he first went in. And lo and behold, voila, I found some Portland stuff. And I found actually a lot of Portland stuff. You'd be surprised that people put old tapes, and yeah, the quality's not very good, but hey, it was 82 when he went in. Well, that's when it starts, okay? He was actually there for a little longer than that, but when he comes into Portland, he does an interview with his father, and they're against the Army, who my guess is it's Rip Oliver versus, it was Rip Oliver, Buddy Rose, and I think Matt Bourne. I'm not too sure how involved Matt Bourne was. Also, just as a side note, I actually did watch the, Dark Side of the Ring about Matt Bourne, and let's just say, my opinion is, his daughter, I get that she loves her dad, she loves her dad and stuff, and she made something of herself, but her dad, it just seemed like whenever he would get popular or a gimmick would go good for him, he would sabotage it. And, it's not good to speak ill of the dead, but Matt Bourne wasn't, I would put him in the category of Jim Hellwig, because I did see the Dark Side of the Ring for Jim Hellwig, and he was a piece of crap. Okay, that's my opinion of Matt Bourne. Sorry to tell the truth, but that's just how I see it. I mean, it's just like he would sabotage himself. I mean, why would you do that? I also saw the Junkyard Dog's Dark Side of the Ring. I thought it was very good. Just sorry that that's how it ended. And they said that his daughter also died of, some kind of heart issue. You talk about sad. I mean, the Junkyard Dog died in 99 and I was 13 years old. I didn't really know the Junkyard Dog when he was in with Bill Watts, but I do remember, I actually go back now and I actually saw the SummerSlam match that JYD had with Rick Rude. And that was a great match, I thought. I think Rude and JYD really played off of each other and kind of, got it. There's some stuff in there that I heard on, the Jim Cornette's show, and they disagree that, JYD would, break down the door and leave Bill Watts, because Bill Watts was more surprised that JYD would leave. So we're not saying that Teddy Long is a liar or anything. He's a good guy from what I've heard. It's just that, we think that JYD had to say something. I actually just got to see also a Dark Side of the Ring on Adrian Adonis. Oh my gosh, you talk about stuff that they skipped, but wow. And they had Bret the Hitman Hart on there, and they had, his friend, and his name was Keith. They had his wife on there. Totally blew me away that he was such a family man, and you could tell that he loved his wife, and his wife loved him. Bret was like, I can believe it was like a total 360 from where he was in the ring. Like, he was this, great wrestler, and he was kind of stiff with you if he didn't like you. He was also a tough guy. The Dan Spivey thing, I don't know. I don't know Dan Spivey very well, so I don't know if he was goofing or if he was really telling the truth about Adrian Adonis, knocking him out twice because he was stiff with him or something. My guess is that probably was true, but when he was at home, Keith was a great guy. Like I said, loved his wife, loved his kids. His daughters literally thought he walked on water. That's how I perceived the interviews with them about Adrian Adonis. Literally they loved their dad. So, I didn't really know a lot about Adrian, or Keith, as he was known. I just knew that he was mentioned in Bret's book. Bret did talk about Adrian Adonis briefly. The one thing I think that Vice could have done better with is interview Jesse. I've heard that Jesse and Adrian didn't get along outside of the ring, but they were still tag team partners. They were the East and West connection. And I just would have loved to hear stories, especially the stories that I heard from Jesse himself, when everyone knows in earlier episodes of this podcast that I actually interviewed Jesse Ventura for 5 minutes, but still the recollection he has of him and Adrian facing Curt and Larry is phenomenal, and he would have been right there. I bet you he could remember a lot of those matches, and just phenomenal take on how, and he could explain, hey, yeah, I didn't like this guy, but, that didn't stop me from working with him and being a tag team with him. I think they were also tag team champions at one point. They did mention it, but it really kind of, it would have been better if they had Jesse there. They could have interviewed him. I just would have liked to have seen Jesse Ventura interviewed, because he does remember, at least the match with him and Adrian against Larry and Curt Hennig. So, and Jesse vividly remembers, they would beat the crap out of Curt, and then he would tag, and Daddy would come in and clean up the problem. Hey, that's great, And I just think that Jesse would have been a great asset to the whole Adrian Adonis story. And I admit that I did shed a tear at the end, because what a raw deal. What a raw deal he got. He shouldn't have probably been in that car. I sort of wish someone would have said, hey, I don't think you should go. I think you should go back to WWF, see what Vince says. 'Cause he had cleaned himself up, I think, by that time. I get that he maybe didn't see the money coming in, but I think that he, because there was no AWA anymore, I just think that he would have prospered again now that he was, he had kind of turned his life around. He was only, 35, 36 at the time. in 88, and I just think that he would have, gotten bigger and better, and I just think that he would have been a star. The whole Adrian Adonis thing, they were saying it was like Gorgeous George, his Adrian Adonis, I'm guessing there's a promo out there, someone had said where the promo is, he says, "Yes, I'm gay." I don't know, I didn't see any of those promos. Other than I've watched old WWF when he was Adrian Adonis, it didn't really, I was kind of ambivalent towards him, towards Adrian Adonis when I would go back and see older videos of him. He was just a heel, and I'm not sure about the promo, but if you think about it, it was meant to push that gay button. And they said so in the documentary. A lot of people still hated gays in the 80s. But it was meant to push that button and get heat. Once you push that button, you get heat. They did the same thing with Goldust in the 90s. It was just meant to push the envelope a little bit and then get that heat. Remember, how did Curt get heat? He slammed the cage door on Ric Flair's head. And boy, did everyone hate him. Everyone hated him. How could he do this to Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen? That's how you get heat. You make it believable for the fans, and when you have a gimmick that pushes that button, as Adrian Adonis did, I think it just kind of made his heel character blossom even more, and then he would get into it with the fans and stuff. Even though that was just a gimmick and a character, I wish they would have gone into detail about how Roddy Piper and him were good friends, because there was also that celebrity ghost story about, him and Adrian Adonis, and I was telling, family members of mine that, recently, I was telling them, that, gimmick wasn't him. That was just a gimmick. He was a completely different person outside of the ring, and that's like he was keeping up the kayfabe, majorly. But anyway, the whole ghost story about Piper and him, and Piper had shared on Celebrity Ghost Story. I really recommend that you go ahead and find that. If you just Google search it, Roddy Piper's Celebrity Ghost Story, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find it. It was about Adrian Adonis, and what a beautiful story, a beautiful tale, that he was really broken up after Adrian had passed in the car wreck, and something kept scaring Piper's kids. And I don't think Adrian did it on purpose. I think he was just trying to get the message across to his kids. Hey, can you go get your dad? And I can talk to him one last time. Because when Piper says when he came in the room, Adrian showed himself to kind of say, hey, I'm okay, bud. I'm here. I'm okay. I'm not in pain anymore. And then Piper said he never saw him again. So, very touching ghost story. I really liked it, and I did end up shedding some tears after the whole, Adrian Adonis, dark side of the ring. I really couldn't see what the dark side was. Was it the drugs? I wasn't really sure, because, it's not like Adrian overdosed. He didn't overdose on drugs. He just sort of, did it and got bigger, but there was no tragic story there because he was just about to turn his life around. I guess the tragedy, but that's not like the dark side. That accident was just a freak accident. And no, he probably shouldn't have been in the accident, but the moral of the story is that, unfortunately, I think he got the raw end of the deal. And there was something, look, I get it, that the Kelly twins were in the car, and the one guy who survived the crash was talking about his brother. Look, I get that, okay? But this was not about the Kelly twins. This was a documentary about Adrian Adonis. And I think they should have just stuck to Adrian Adonis. Again, I respect the Kelly twins. I know nothing of them. I've never seen their work. And, I respect them and everything, especially Mike Kelly, who actually had to watch his twin die. They pretty much died instantly. They tried to save Adrian, but unfortunately he passed away before they could save him, is what Mike Kelly was saying. I get it that you want to make a tribute to the other twin that died, but do that in a different, tribute to him. Do that in a documentary about the Kelly twins. Don't do it in a thing that your main focus was Adrian Adonis, and it just seemed like they were trying to, at the end, they were just trying to tribute to this other Kelly twin that died. Stick to the story. Stick to the main story that you were going to tell, and that was Adrian Adonis. So, and Adrian it was July 4th, so I would have been 2 years old when Adrian passed on. And like I said, I've seen his work. It's, as far as I can see, it's good. I haven't seen any AWA stuff, but that doesn't mean I can't go looking for it. I'm pretty sure if you did like a Google search or whatever, you could probably find some Adrian Adonis stuff. Like I said, great family man. It was a good documentary. I just think a little tweaking should have been done, especially with the Jesse stuff. They should have interviewed Jesse. And then, of course, at the end, they were trying to make it like a tribute. Like, they were talking about the Kelly twins. I get that. But, I mean, this documentary is about Adrian Adonis, not the Kelly twins. So, if you want to do something about the Kelly twins, do something separate. But it's kind of like they devoted like 10, 15, 20 minutes to just the Kelly twins in a story about Adrian Adonis. So, I don't know if that was an accident or if they did that on purpose, but, I mean, stick to Adrian, right? I mean, that's what we were all trying to get across, and he was a tough guy. He's from the streets of Brooklyn or whatever, tough as they come, so, it was good to see some background on Adrian Adonis and get to meet his friend and also his wife. I think I started crying when she had said that after his funeral, that she had gone back to, I don't know if it was, I guess she went back home and had looked in the closet and saw one of his biker jackets that he used to wear before he was Adrian Adonis, and just kind of grabbed it and held on to it and fell on the bed just crying and sobbing because, he was never coming home. And I wouldn't want to know what that feels like, because that's just, it was heart-wrenching, and I really felt bad for her, because she really loved Adrian. So, alright, so enough about Dark Side of the Ring. I really recommend these episodes, especially if you like the Junkyard Dog, or you liked, and dare I say, Matt Bourne, or you liked Adrian Adonis. You can look them up. I'm pretty sure you can just Google search them. They probably have all kinds of Dark Side of the Rings on, like, Daily Motion, which is like you can watch videos there for free or something. And if you've seen Adrian Adonis's, Dark Side of the Ring or any of these Dark Side of the Rings, feel free to get in touch with me. In earlier episodes, I give my email address, so, feel free to go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we came here to watch a Portland match between Rip Oliver, Buddy Rose, Larry, and Curt Hennig. So, a lot of these matches, like I said, the quality is not so good. However, they get the point across. And a lot of these matches are 2 out of 3 falls. And that seems to be the main thing. I don't think Curt had a regular match, maybe 1 or 2 regular matches in Portland that weren't 2 out of 3 falls, but it just seemed like every time he would come out, it was him and his dad, or him and, he was with Billy Jack Hayes, which I also learned that he had some dark past too, but totally soft-spoken guy, nice guy. Let's just say, I will not be making Billy Jack Hayes mad at me anytime soon. But just a nice, wonderful guy, very soft-spoken, a gentleman too, from what I was told. But every match just seemed like, no matter who he was tagging with, whether it was Billy Jack or it was, Buddy Rose, when they actually turned him babyface in Portland, they did do that, I believe in 83 sometime. I think it was June of 83 is when he turned babyface. And then there was actually now a 3-way or a 6-man tag that they always do. It would be like Buddy Rose and Curt and Billy Jack. And then on the other side would be like Rip Oliver and Dynamite. I think that's where Dynamite kind of would say nice things about Curt, because I'm pretty sure in the interview I heard, Curt talks about the fact that him and Dynamite had said good things about Curt in his book. Something like that. You have to look up that radio interview from, I think it was 2000. The guy does the radio interview with Curt right before, he passes. And I think it was from November 2000. But correct me if I'm wrong. Look it up and see if I'm wrong about that. But I'm pretty sure in that interview that he was talking about how Dynamite had said good things about him. Brett said good things about him in his book. So, a lot of good things about Curt in different people's books that they wrote. But, it was always like him and it was always Curt and then Buddy Rose and Billy Jack. And then, like, Rip Oliver, Dynamite, and somebody else. Probably Matt Bourne, but that doesn't sound right. Matt Bourne was kind of in and out of the Portland area. They had skipped some stuff in his Dark Side of the Ring as well. The Buddy Rose feud, they kind of just glossed over that, didn't even talk about it. So, the whole feud between him and Buddy Rose, where in real life, Buddy Rose marries Matt Bourne's sister. And they had a big feud about that. So, I just look it up. You can find Portland stuff. There's all kinds of stuff. I'm pretty sure you could even during the Curt matches, they talk about, Andre the Giant coming through and the women wrestlers coming through. So you can definitely find a lot of stuff on Portland if you go looking for it, I'm sure. So I'm going to take a little break here and I'll see you on the flip side. All right. And we're back. So, if you just want to go ahead, and cue up your match, it should say Rip Oliver and Buddy Rose with a little V and then Larry and Curt Hennig. It's 25 minutes and 9 seconds long. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play now. And what's cool here is, you see Curt always wears this, it looks like a cowboy, like a rhinestone cowboy kind of thing. And I always thought, because I've heard that Curt loved country music. He loved, George Jones, and he loved Hank Williams Sr. So I think it's awesome that he used to come to the ring in this, like, rhinestone-looking cowboy kind of coat. Where his dad just kind of came in as normal. He's just Larry the Axe. You don't mess with him. Trust me, I wouldn't want to. So, when I first saw this, I was kind of like, wow, this is cool. Yeah, see, he says about Andre the Giant coming to the territory, so I'm sure you could find that somewhere. Like I said, if you just look around YouTube or you look around, Daily Motion, or just maybe do a Google search and see if other people have Portland stuff. I admit that sometimes, like, they don't have all the matches that Curt did, so there's some, like, gaps in between the years and stuff, but mainly I got most of what I needed. So now we're looking at, there's Larry Hennig is holding a sign that says, "The End." I'm guessing Buddy Rose had some kind of match where if he lost, he would have to leave the territory. My guess is he had to leave because I think everyone did this where they would do a certain territory for so long and then they would go to another one. So that's my guess, is when Buddy Rose left, he actually would come back. In a couple of months or something. That's my guess. Larry is trying to rip Oliver. Like I said, Larry Hennig is one person I would not want to make angry. I'd be a grease spot on the floor. I would have all kinds of respect for Larry Hennig. I love it. Curt's like waving at him. Bye-bye. Getting up on the rope and like, come on, yell louder. And Larry, he's just so funny. Like, the moves he would do, you could tell that he was just trying to be funny and add a little comic relief, so to speak, to the match. And the crowd totally loved it. Totally loved Larry. So charismatic. Just a little shimmy there. Little shimmy shimmy. Like, come here, Rose. Bam. How do you like that? Boing. And you can hear the crowd just, yeah, come on, Larry, let's go. Beat him up, Larry. But even like this match itself is a 2 out of 3 falls. I think the first one goes to Buddy Rose and them, and then the second fall goes to Curt and Larry. And then like the ending is, well, I'm not going to say the ending, but the ending is what it sort of would turn out to be. And I'm not going to give you any clues. It's just, it's a typical ending, I think, of how they kind of wanted it, but it's like every match was a 2 out of 3 falls. I guess that's just what they did in those days. And there goes Curt, trying to help his dad. And there goes Larry chants. I like it. The crowd says, "We want Curt," and I'm like, "You want Curt to do what?" I'm guessing win. You have to remember, guys, this is 82, so I wasn't born yet. So, but I always scream, "Let's go, Curt! Let's go, Curt!" And everyone's go, "We want Curt!" I'm like, "We want Curt to do what?" Oh, he's trying to pull his hair. Hiya! Hiya! Now he takes in Curt. You hear the crowd screaming, "Come on, Curt!" Oh, boy. Very intimidating, Rip Oliver. Or maybe that's Buddy Rose. I think it was Buddy Rose. I think Curt said later that Buddy Rose would do all kinds of stuff. And, you know, Curt always wanted to try it out in, you know, the WWF. So I think that's kind of cool that, you know, it sort of seemed like Buddy Rose took Curt under his wing and kind of said, you know, come on, I'll show you what's up, you know. Oh, got the hair. Oh, ouch. Nope. Gotta play it possum, I guess. Now I got Buddy Rose. That's it. Come on, Curt. I know, he always had Buddy Rose right where he always wanted him. And what's funny is when Curt tags Larry, Larry acts like he's gonna break the guy's wrist, and then you hear people say, break it, break it, break it. Like, geez, you people are so nice. You actually want Larry Hennig to break his wrist. There it is. They're screaming, break it. Yeah, go ahead, Larry, break it. Buddy Rose would never forgive you. I don't see Larry Hennig doing that. I always heard that Larry was a good guy outside of the ring, so. But you didn't want to cross him. I love Curt's tights here. They're just black. It makes him look kind of thinner, too, you know, like sleeker. Haha, you missed. Curt always looked muscular, too. Like, in the black, he always looked like he was muscular and more chiseled. Is the only word I'm coming up with is chiseled. Oh, ouch. Oh, a little more for you, Rip Oliver. I love it. And they're still screaming, bye-bye, Rose. They really hated Buddy Rose. Let's put it that way. But right now, Curt's got Rip Oliver. And he's not letting go either. That's the funny part is a lot of these matches I would think would end sooner because, well, I guess if they're 2 out of 3 falls, then they didn't have a TV time limit until they kind of said, you know, okay, that's enough, guys. Let's get the first fall over with, and then the second fall, and then the third fall. See, in the WWF, you never really saw a lot of 2 out of 3 falls. I mean, they did it once with a tag team championship, I think. Or they did it with a 6-man tag or something. But, I mean, they didn't have them all the time, it seemed. And just every time in Portland you see Curt or his dad, or you see Curt and Billy Jack, it's like 2 out of 3 falls for everything. Even when he was by himself, there's a match with him and David Schultz. And then him and also Billy Cloud, too. And it's usually like 2 out of 3 falls. There's another one where he actually goes against Buddy Rose. And I'm guessing Curt had some kind of knee surgery or something. Probably was just, I want to go to a different territory, so let me out. But to keep up with kayfabe, when he came back to Portland, it was like, hey, let me try my new knee out, and I'll just beat the crap out of Buddy Rose, who also had apparently knee surgery. So they were testing each other's knee, and boy, he just mercifully, and I mean mercifully, just wrenches back and hurts Buddy Rose's knee, supposedly. And it's a good match, but it's kind of hard to watch, because if you are a big fan of Curt like I am, when Buddy does the same thing to Curt and kind of like wraps his knee up and stuff, it's like, ooh boy, cringe. And boy, I'll tell you what, Curt really sold it. He really sold it, because he really made you feel like, oh, the first fall is over, and it went to Buddy Rose and Rip Oliver, because they did a double backbreaker? Shoulder breaker to Curt and pinned him 1, 2, 3. But to go back to the whole knee versus knee, I guess it was called at the time. Oh my gosh, that's so hard to watch. It's like, you see Curt in just so much pain, and I'm just like, stop! But no, it's a good match. I definitely recommend that you, check it out if you can. And see, they're starting already. Oh, no, not on the shoulder. Oh, referee caught him. Trying to reach down on Curt's arm. Yeah, that wasn't good. That was not good at all. But Curt really sells it. I mean, he really was the artiste in his craft, Just like an artist will paint a painting, wrestling is kind of like that, Wrestlers would paint paintings and show you what they needed to show you in the storyline with him and his dad versus, Buddy Rose and Rip Oliver, and even Matt Bourne, too. I believe in this match, Matt Bourne does come out. But that's all I'm going to tell you. That's all I'm going to mention to the audience at hand. Oh, see, he tried to get him there, but Daddy came in. Dad came in. Oh, that's good. He tagged his dad. And Larry's going nuts. So, as Gorilla used to say, the double noggin knocker. Oh, there's the axe. I think. And bye-bye, Buddy Rose. I remember during the David Schultz match, the one rope gave away completely, and I thought Curt got hurt on it because, he actually hurt himself on it, because it looked like the rope just kind of grazed him there for a second, but I don't know. Curt kept going. I mean, he kept going even though the rope came completely off of the metal bar. I guess it just pulled out of the bar. They hit it so hard that, or maybe they were using it so hard that, it just literally snapped right off. It was like, oh my gosh! And then Curt's going for the turnbuckle, And you just see the turnbuckle come completely loose. I'm like, holy crap! Oh, 1, 2, 3. Larry Hennig and Curt Hennig get the second fall. Oh, Rip Oliver bladed. Alright, here comes Curt and Larry again. So out comes Matt Bourne. Here's Matt Bourne getting into the ring. But he can't do that. Referee doesn't allow it. Gotta get referee's permission.
The only option you have that I'm aware of is you give up the match. In other words, you just take a loss.
Kurt's ready.
In other words, if Oliver is too hurt to continue, Rhodes would have to go on by himself. Matt Bourne trying to replace him.
You can really hear the crowd. They must have had the mics up. Hey, if Matt Bourne's not going to leave, he can leave by me. I always wondered if that hurt Kurt's hand.
Taking a page from the Army's manual. They're giving him the same kind of treatment they would turn on Matt.
No, there goes Larry hitting him.
He's still down at ringside. Curt Hennig, father Larry the Axe Hennig. What a team they have made. The old man always instructing. Larry Hennig and son Curt.
Kurt's in the ring, just pummeling Rip Oliver. 5 minutes, huh? We got 5 minutes left in the match. So I guess they did have a TV time limit with these 2 out of 3 falls. I would think that these things would take forever, but I guess there was sort of, they had to, okay, wrap it up, boys, let's go. Is that how big Larry Hennig was? Wow. Oh, ouch. Again, I'm not gonna piss off Larry Hennig. No, thank you. Oh. Oh, no. Oh. Oh, well, sorry, Buddy Rose. Oh, no, Matt Bourne with a chair. Oh. And Larry Hennig blades. Get him, Curt. I love it. He's like, come here, Matt Bourne. I'll give you a what for. Stay away from my dad, dude. You okay, Dad? Get the heck out of here. Leave my dad alone. Dorks. Oh no, not the referee too. Oh no, not the ref. And Larry Hennig is bleeding. Because he bleeded.
They are going at each other. They're calling for Rocky. They want somebody out of
As in Rocky Johnson?
Hennig takes care of a couple of them. Here comes Larry.
Well, there you go. Apparently, Rocky Johnson also did Portland. There you go.
Hennig is bleeding like the proverbial stuffed pig. He's seen his own blood and he's going wild.
I'm telling Larry Hennig you called him a stuffed pig.
Now he knocks forward.
Yeah, he bleeded. You can tell Larry Hennig's face is bloody. Hiya!
He's going to rule it a no contest, I believe. This got out of control. I think he could have DQ'd the Army had he seen Rhodes with a chair. Rather born with the chair.
I can't believe the referee's still standing. Cause he got thrown into the pole too. The steel post.
Born used the chair.
Ding! Everybody likes seeing Larry Hennig do that.
Rhodes whipped into the corner. The axe. And Bourne is saying, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Will be matched again. And maybe someday there'll be some kind of a decision. This one ends in a no contest out of control. Oh man, I've seen some rivalries. But when this big Larry Hennig gets in the middle of something.
Don't blame Larry Hennig. He only saw what they were doing to Curt. Supposedly they were,
Hennig is going in the crowd.
Oh, you can't do that now. Someone would sue.
Literally chased him into the crowd.
Your feet don't fail me now. Run! Here goes Larry Hennig, run! Yeah, I'd run too.
They're still ringing the bell.
Oh, you missed. Oh.
Cleared up. We'll be right back. We've got to take a break.
Okay. So, I'm going to take a little break here, and I'll see you in a couple minutes. Alright, so, we are back. To you would probably be like a second. To me, I just kind of took a couple minute break. So, like I said in the before we watched the match, great matches here. Like I said, most of them were in Portland. They were 2 out of 3 falls. It just seemed like when he got to the AWA, Curt, of course, when he got to the AWA, it just seemed like, he was in regular matches, where it was just one fall piece. He did have some earlier matches there. It's sort of like, he was working his way up in the ranks of AWA, but the Portland stuff, if I hadn't have did a search for Curt, his matches in Portland, I wouldn't know what an Iranian death match is. I had no idea what that was until I saw Curt in one. And it was awesome. I do like the match. Kind of was confused on what kind of, what they were doing, but like I had never heard of such a thing. So it was kind of a new ball of wax for me. Curt does blade a couple times, especially with the assassin, because supposedly the assassin had a blade in his mask, and every time he would headbutt somebody, apparently, Curt refused to face him because he had a blade or something. So that was kind of cool. There was a match. I have seen a miner's glove on a pole match. Curt has that later. I want to say it was probably 83 or 84, before he went to the AWA. But it was him and the assassin, I believe, in this, miner's glove on a pole match. I'm not going to give away the ending because I think you should, just go search that. Curt Hennig, coal miner's glove on a pole match. You will find it. It's him and the assassin, I believe. And it's, I had never seen these kind of matches because, like I said, they didn't really have them in the WWF. So, these were new kind of concepts to me. I had heard of them from like Jim Cornette, and I was just like, oh yeah, I've seen a coal miner's glove on a pole match because Curt had one. So, it was interesting. It was a good match, I think. Curt really put his heart and soul into all these matches, and had a lot of fun, I think, with his dad, which is, the main thing. You want, someone to enjoy the matches that they have with their dad. What I would have loved to seen is, him do some tag team matches with Joe. I think that would be really interesting, and I think Joe would love that too. I think all his fans would love to see, Curt and Joe Hennig against so-and-so and so-and-so. Kind of like what he did with his dad. So that would be kind of cool. And yeah, these were good matches back then. I really recommend that you just go to YouTube and have a field day. You can look up any kind of real Portland match. I have seen some Larry Hennig matches, where he was just by himself. So it was like before Curt got into wrestling, maybe. It could have been some from the 70s even. So I really recommend that you do some, just, search some things out if you like a certain wrestler, other than Curt, of course. I would definitely recommend that you do like a YouTube search and go looking for some of those matches from Portland. Like I said, really crappy quality, but hey, at least these people were kind enough, to upload these videos. So, kudos to these people for doing that. I really enjoy the matches, especially the Curt matches. I don't really watch anything other in Portland. The only reason I heard of the Buddy Rose and Matt Bourne, feud was the Tales from the Territories, when they were talking about that in the Portland territory, when they did Tales of the Territories in Portland. Because I did not know that Matt Rose's sister had really, in real life, married Buddy Rose. So, and they said Buddy Rose was really the background and why Portland stayed open as long as it did. Now I do, in the WWF, I believe it was like 1990 or maybe 91, you do see Buddy Rose in the WWF, but it's more of like him as a jobber. So I don't really see him as like, he wasn't really a mainstream star. Not like Curt had just become, not that Buddy Rose wasn't talented. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he does show up in the WWF around 1990, 91. And he's a jobber. So, I mean, when I first saw these matches, I was just bewildered. But now that I've watched a couple of them, I mean, I've watched all the way through to when he goes to the AWA. But I mean, these matches are phenomenal. And like I said, I really recommend them. So if you can just go through, a bunch of Portland stuff, go for it, because, yeah, it's crappy quality, but, I mean, hey, at least someone was able to show us what some of us weren't born yet, so, I wasn't born till 86, so, but like I said in the beginning, if you would like to contribute to this podcast, there will be a link in the description field. You can either click on it or you can just copy and paste it into a browser, and you can contribute like $2, $3, $5. I think it goes all the way up to 10, I think. So, thank you for support. And if you like what you hear, you can, find me there and contribute. Again, you can find me on Apple Podcasts, on Amazon Music. You can find me on Google Podcasts, and you can find me any darn where you can find a podcast. I really appreciate, the people in Germany. I get a lot of hits from, Germany, also from Texas, and I didn't forget anybody. There's one from Colorado even, one from Florida, I believe, but, I'm just overwhelmed by everyone wanting to hear, my take on the greatest wrestler to ever live, in my opinion. So, like I said, if you want to go ahead and help the show, it's greatly appreciated. I'm sorry that I haven't done an episode lately. I've just been really busy with my current job. I'm working a lot of hours. So, like I said, if you like what you hear, please, 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 think about contributing, $2 a month, to help the podcast, stay afloat. And, if you would like to, talk to me, as a guest, you can always email me. My email address is mrperfectis0328@gmail.com. Again, I would love to talk to you, as a guest, and you can give me your opinion. Oh, Curt wasn't this, Curt wasn't that. I will debate you as fairly as possible. But you're wrong. So, no, everyone have a great, I hope you had a great 4th of July. I got to be with my son, so that was nice. We got to watch fireworks from my porch, because you could see them right from the porch. And I hope you have a great, rest of your July. And then, of course, we got August coming up. My son goes back to school at the end of August, so, he's a big first grader now. But I hope that, the kids go back to school smoothly and everything goes well. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful couple of months. I will try to be back here as much as possible to talk about, pretty much anything to do with Curt Hennig. Because remember, everyone, nobody beats Mr. Perfect. Nobody.